This is Leafs Morning Take with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill.
Now we've got a fight started here right off the bat with Rosehill.
30 minutes of live, nonstop Leafs talk starts now.
The Leafs fought hard all regular season long to get home ice advantage tonight. It's time to do something with it. It's the Friday edition of Leafs Morning Take. Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with you. How you feeling today, Rosie?
It's time to do something with it. Isn't that the truth, my man? I'm pumped that it's game day once again. These are getting kind of intense.
Yes. I'm not at that point just yet. I even said it on yesterday's show. The feeling was different watching game 3. I think the feeling will be different watching game 4 because, or game 5, I should say. I'm not at that level where I'm like, oh crap, with every waking moment and shift. I think this series becomes real once again if the Leafs win tonight. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's not a big collective thing. People were talking about it after their first win there in game 4, saying, do you believe now that these guys have what it takes to get it done? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? They put themselves in a 3-rip hole and they got the job done to win 1. Now they got to do it again to win 1, and that won't even get it done. But it'll start to make a lot of people talk and start to make a lot of people think. But then they still got to go back down and win 1. And it's just these little baby steps and these building blocks that they're working on right now. And it's the only way you can look at it being down that kind of a hole, because it is just a game by game scenario. They have to reset everything and bring their friggin' best tonight just to get to that point to be able to try to do it again. So yeah, it's every win from here on out is going to make things drastically different, but you just got to take it one win at a time. I think that's the way they are approaching it. And they got the job done the first time. They got to do it again, man. I'm excited to see what they got because they have trouble accessing their best hockey, and I just can't wait to see what the hell they have tonight.
Man, I love building narratives in my head. I think it would be so great if the Leafs came back in this series because they now know who's waiting for them in the Eastern Conference Final, and that's Frederik Andersen and the Carolina Hurricanes, man. I can't stop smiling after seeing that. This guy's been allergic to the Stanley Cup playoff for years. Didn't even play the majority of the beginning, and then all of a sudden he's propelled himself into a conference final, and I think he would burn to the ground if the Maple Leafs took him on. The one thing I noticed in the regular season, every time the Leafs played the Canes, they never put Freddie Andersen in there. When they did, they lit him up, man. I just think that would be tremendous, tremendous theater.
Oh, that'd be so wicked, man. Like, obviously getting ahead of ourselves, that's not even close to something you could bet on right now, but if it's just more incentive for them to get this done, and it's more reason to be pissed off that they're in this position, but it is what it is. And you're absolutely right. If that were to happen, to see Frederik Andersen come back into Toronto and see how he handled that, like, how many memories and feelings he would have from that place from, times past. And it would be very, very interesting. All the more reason for these guys to sack up and give their absolute best 60 minutes they can give us tonight.
He would blow up like the Leafs did in Game 3 in Sunrise. Nonetheless, remember to subscribe, tap that like button, leave us a review wherever you're checking us out at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. If you're watching right now and are not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. If you don't do it immediately, Jay Rosehill is going to come down and put your lights out. So please do so at the Leafs Nation 401 where you can subscribe. Additionally, we're available wherever you can find your podcast. Just search Leafs Morning Take and we'll show up. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com for the very latest in all things Toronto Maple Leafs. Thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns. Just having a brief look at the chat. Pretty hot right now. People are fired up. People are a bit anxious. I totally understand that. So if you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, comments on tonight's game moving forward for the Maple Leafs, drop us a line in the chat down below here on YouTube. We'll get to them in about 15 minutes or so. But for now, let's get over the boards. So here we go again. Do or die time once again, Rosie, for the Toronto Maple Leafs Game 5. Unsurprisingly, Joseph Woll confirmed. We'll talk about him momentarily. But my big question for you, and you actually tweeted about this the other night, where's the offense? The Maple Leafs have scored 2 goals in 6 straight games here in the postseason dating back to round 1.
I know, for a team that is, an offensive powerhouse, and you look at their lineup, that is their strength, without a doubt. They've got guys that can absolutely put the puck in the net. They've got playmakers. They've got finishers. They've got high talent studs. And I mean, to that's proven over an 82 game season. I mean, they've gotten the points and they've gotten the accolades, so they're good hockey players and they're a high octane offense. But you got to see it in the playoffs for it to be worth anything, right? And I just don't really recall too many teams that go this cold in the playoffs like the Leafs have. It's not even just this year. We've talked how that's been their kind of Achilles heel is, they just can't score that bloody goal. And, they're clipping along and they found a way to do it. I think that insurance goal in game 4 was huge to make that a 2-goal deficit. They have trouble getting that 2-goal lead as well once they get up and letting teams back in it. But it's been a problem. And, they're going back to Toronto, and like this is an opportunity. You know how you go back to like the 93 Western Eastern finals and you got these different things where I remember this and Boreas Salming did that. Like this is a deal for them right now. Someone can be that guy. Like Austin Matthews wants to have 2 rips tonight and just be a dominant force out there and just be the guy that he's capable of being. It's going to go down as things that people remember forever. A huge game in Toronto, back against the wall to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, to claw your way back into a series. Like, time to fucking step up somebody who wants it. And if they think that way and if they value that, like, I just want someone to be chomping at the bit to say, I'm tired of this horse shit and all this back and forth. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to steal the goddamn show because I'm that good. And someone's got to have that swagger, maybe a Nylander, anybody. Who wants it? It's a huge game in Toronto, deep in the territory where people are really paying attention. It's a second round. They haven't even been there in so long. This is uncharted territory for a long time, and someone can step up and make a name for themselves.
I think the term you're looking for is defining moment, and I couldn't agree more. I think it's time for the big boys to step up. So last game, we see Mitch Marner, we see William Nylander. The one guy I'm really zoning on tonight, Austin Matthews. In fact, I'm taking him plus 100 to score a goal. Hasn't scored in this series. He has 2 assists, hasn't recorded a point in 2 straight outings now, hasn't scored since game 6 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. You talk about defining moments and proving why you're one of the best in this league. Now is the time for Austin Matthews to shut all the naysayers up, do his thing, start providing offense for this team, and really, really show sort of his worth to this organization, to this city. And obviously, you got to lead by example, but that's the one guy I'm looking at. If Matthews has a game, I think this is going back to a game 6 in Sunrise Sunday night.
Yeah, I'd agree. And he just kind of hasn't. He's been there. I mean, like opening shift, rings one off the crossbar. He seems to be a guy who's standing out as trying to do that. All right, F you, look out of the way. And like he's diving through creases. He's taken to the net pretty hard, and he's noticeable out there as trying to get it done. And if he gets a break or a bounce, or someone leaves their assignment on him and he can get a hold of that thing and get his release gone, he could really kickstart this team. And to do it at maybe a critical moment in Toronto would be a huge deal, man. There is literally nothing I'd want to see more than that happen tonight. But they're going to have to work for it. Like, make no mistake, this Florida Panthers team is a quality hockey team, and they are a good playoff hockey team. The way they play is built for the playoffs, and it's a big reason why they got out to that 3-0 rip and have stunned the Leafs. So it's not going to be easy, man. But make no mistake, they're going to be ready. They're going to be chomping at the bit. They're saying all their things over there in their locker room too. But at the end of the day, you do got to worry about yourselves. And if those guys can, harness their best hockey, it could be a special night. It's just a matter of making it happen.
The other thing is commitment to defense. So like that was my biggest takeaway, is the number 21. And that was the amount of shot blocks by the Maple Leafs. Like, I can't remember the last time there was commitment like that defensively, protecting the house. Maybe because there was a rookie netminder in there. Like, but from a team defense standpoint, Florida just didn't generate much offensively. The Leafs did a great job. 6 in the lane. Schenner was great. Giordano was great. The PK was awesome. I'm not sure if that type of brand of hockey is sustainable over a 4-game stretch, which the Leafs have to put together. But like, they got to find different ways to win hockey games. That's why I'm looking at the offense. Like, you pride yourself on having one of the best power plays in the world. You pride yourself on being one of the best offenses in the league. It's time to prove it. I mean, they're not taking on, Dominic Hasek in his prime right now. I know Bobrovsky's been outstanding, but I think they have to do their best to just get the puck on net and get some scoring chances, right? I think Bobrovsky obviously is beatable. He's feeling good about life right now, but like, the dam has to burst eventually in my world.
Yeah, I think so. And I'd like to see some pucks on the net tonight. I mean, when you're watching in the playoffs and when you need a goal and maybe things aren't going your way and you're not getting a lot of puck luck or you're getting goalied or it's overtime or just those certain times where just throwing pucks on net and like just getting that rebound off a pad. Nylander's just standing there in the low slot, boom, off the pad, buries one. Like funnel things to the net, fire it from the half wall. Low, not up high to go fucking top shelf. Throw it low, let it go off a skate, let it go off a shin pad, get some puck luck, and have bodies crash into the net. I mean, when teams do that to the Maple Leafs, it's always like, God damn it, they're peppering us, they're picking us apart. Our D-men are spinning around. There's rebounds out there, goalies scrambling back and forth, trying to, it's havoc. And you can't sit around and wait for that perfect tic-tac-toe top shelf. Like it doesn't have to be pretty. These guys can
Yep.
score goals in all kinds of different ways, and you want to give yourself the best chance. And I just, it's just so many times has it been relayed by coaches over the years of get pucks to the net, get bodies to the net, get pucks to the net, get bodies to the net. And I think that's got to be part of their mantra because they need the offense to come. And I think they're a type of team where if you do that and you get one, the floodgates can open and you can really open things wide up. And once you start getting those bounces and the momentum and the guys start feeling good, then your skill can really take over and you can have yourself a hell of a game. And then Florida's ass can really pucker up, but you got to get it done, right? So it's all talk and we don't want to get too in the future, but it's important to talk about what happens if they do this, what happens if they do that, and how the whole mentality changes in this thing.
Let's talk about the gray wall now. So, not surprising at all, but they announced Joseph Wall as the Game 5 starter, confirmation Sheldon Keefe after practice. I don't see I don't foresee a scenario where we see Ilya Samsonov again in this series. And that's more because if they're going to continue to win games, it's going to be Joseph Wall. Knock on wood, something happens or he gets lit up. Let's hope that's not the case. But like, that's the only way in my world I see somebody other than Joseph Wall play for the Maple Leafs for the rest of the series, right? Because that's the way I see it playing out. And I think, this Samsonov conversation should be pushed to the side because, again, I get it. He's unavailable right now. Upper body injury is what they're calling it, but it's Wall's crease for the long term, right?
Well, the reality is they can't lose a game or they're done. So as long as they're
Yeah.
playing, they're winning games. And as long as they're winning games, I don't think you're going to mess with things too bad. If you're winning games, you're getting closer and closer to be able to play weeks more if you can get to the next round. Again, that's a long ways away.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as they're winning games and inching towards that, they're going to keep it the way it is. Just as much for a reason as maybe, hey, Sammy, like make sure you're healthy. Wool's covering the crease while you're out, and we will reevaluate if we get through this series and if something huge happens and we're still playing. But again, it's not going to be a decision where, oh, Wool loses one. Who do they go to now? Sammy's kind of healthy because your back's against the wall. It's an elimination game every game. So I wouldn't argue with that at all. If they get through, it'll be a conversation. But I mean, you throw Wool in there, and if he happens to pull off 4 wins in some miraculous way, then how do you argue with taking him out? It's interesting, but it's nice to have that guy because I just hope he keeps his mentality going forward like he has. He seems like one of those guys where the goalies that can't get rattled, they don't overthink the moment, they don't get too in their own head. I think that was probably Freddie Anderson's problem, right? I know that guy. I've played with him, and I think the moment gets big, you think about it, you realize too much, and the wheels start churning, and it becomes hard to perform. Wall doesn't seem like that guy, and I just hope he continues with that mentality. Nonchalantly says, "Hey, my guys are great in front of me. I'm just going to try to stop the puck, and the moment's not too big for me." If he can be that guy, he can kind of maybe get a little run going, and that is how special things start happening. A goalie like him comes in and becomes a story, right?
It does. And a lot of great puns in the chat right now. Build the wall with Hall from Total Gamer 1. Patrick G. Mafia, Great Wall of Leafs Nation. Total Gamer 1, Wall and Oates. But yeah, I just hope he's a brick wall tonight for the
Jesus.
Toronto Maple Leafs and has been a great story throughout this season. I love puns, man, so I can appreciate that. But I'm right there with you. Like, it has to be Joseph Wall at this point in time. Like, the fact that people even have this conversation about Ilya Samsonov. I know Matt Murray is backing up, but that's the way I see it. If the Leafs are winning this series, it's going to be behind Joseph Wall, barring something unforeseen, of course. But that is the latest when it comes to Ilya Samsonov. They're not saying much, just an upper body injury, but I do think it is wall o'clock for this Maple Leafs team. Can you make sense of these home road splits, Rosie, for this Maple Leafs team? So That's the big story. How much do we talk about it in the regular season? Home ice, home ice, home ice, pounded home. They won it against Tampa Bay Lightning. And then you come out to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the home road splits are insane. They're 1-4 at Scotiabank Arena and 4-1 away from home. We've been talking about making Scotiabank Arena a house of pain all season long. It's time to prove it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't put too much stock into it. It's I think just the way the cookie crumbles, how the games have gone, how the series have gone. They haven't got it done at home. Why? I don't know. Again, I'm not going deep in it. I don't know why. I don't think anybody does, and I don't really think there's even that big of a reason. I just think that's kind of how she's played out. And again, though, if you don't want to let the moment get too big, if you're the kind of guy that doesn't get nervous and you step up to the moment instead, which guys at that caliber, man, you're a stud. Like any one of those guys on that roster can step up and kind of have like modern legend status if they just come and blow the doors off this place tonight, then go back down and then, you got to do more work and then game seven's a whole new conversation. But that's what they have to do or we're done playing. So why not now? Why not somebody step up and get it done? I don't know what it is that hasn't made them win at Scotiabank Arena. I don't really care. Again, you just got to worry about today and one game at a time. It's today. It's the only thing that matters. You need to win today. So cranking all the stats and looking back, I just don't give a shit anymore. I don't think they do. I don't think they can afford to. It's just got to do. Got to do it. Got to get it done. Someone has to step up.
Ideally, I think I want to see them play physical off the bat, like find a reason to get the crowd in the game. And you were really successful at doing that in your career, whether it's a fight, a big hit, or just showing you're there to start the game, starting on time. Pardon the Babcockisms, but like that's what I want to see is the pace set at the beginning. Because I do think there's a way to get a crowd in a hockey game. I know it's a lot different at Scotiabank Arena for the best of times, a lot of suits, they're eating down below. They're not watching the game. But if you give them reason to watch, I think they show up. And, funny enough, I think that's a big storyline tonight. Can they get the crowd in the game? Because I think you want home ice all season long. And obviously, the last change is a big topic of conversation. But, like, if you have a hostile crowd, it's tougher to play in that barn if you're the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, when that place is rocking, it does get rocking. It has a tendency to go a little flat, no doubt. But like, yeah,
Mhm.
to bring it back to the old school, like my favorite thing in the world was like first shift, get the red line full speed, flip it over the D-men's back and just chase them down. And they know you're coming. As soon as they touch that puck, you just fucking blow them up to the end boards. The whole crowd goes bananas and is like, what a way to start. Like, what if Lafferty or Achari or someone just got it deep and absolutely ran one of their D-men. Nice clean hit, put him on his ass. The barn would be going nuts. That's a big statement. Holy shit, the Panthers are looking around going, man, where did this come from? And you just kind of set the tone that way. There's nothing better, and I would love it nothing more than if someone stepped up in that way. But physicality would be nice. Going to the net hard would be nice. Standing up for yourselves. No bullshit hockey would be nice. Just play as a team and be pissed off and say we're here with some unfinished business. And just so you know, Florida, this series isn't over. Kind of that attitude, mentality, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the barn would respond accordingly.
Yeah, just fire everybody up. That's what we're looking for tonight. Brought to you by our new friends over at Skip. We're happy to tell you about Mitch's Dishes by Skip. Using the promo code TLN15 in the Skip the Dishes app, you'll get $15 off when you spend $30 or more on Mitch's Dishes. Please note that this offer is exclusive to Skip. Additionally, a portion of the proceeds will be donated to the Marner Assist Fund to combat food insecurity. Skip is currently serving up game time eats across the GTA and Ontario in the likes of Brampton, Guelph, Kitchener, Toronto, Oshawa, and Waterloo, among other great places. If Mitch likes it, it's got to be great.
Did somebody say skip?
Meantime, the Betano wrap-up is presented by Betano.ca. The game starts now, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. And Rosie, you were a winner last night. Job well done. The over in the Seattle-Dallas series, by the way, I believe is perfect. And in general, the Dallas Stars have been playing the over quite a bit. So has Seattle. So you take the floor tonight.
Yes, I am taking the Old Faithful here. Over 1.5 goals in the first period in this game. I think there people are going to come out hot. Anything could happen. I think it's going to kind of be a dramatic game, to be honest with you, one way or the other. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I feel like there's going to be some fireworks. So taking that, it's been hitting a lot this playoffs. And minus 167, yeah, it's because it's quite likely to happen. But jump on that board, it's been hitting.
I love it. And additionally, I'll add that I mentioned off the top of the show the Austin Matthews anytime goal. Consider me in plus 100. They need it. If Matthews scores tonight, they win this game. I don't know if you want to call that an Alberga guarantee, but they need Austin Matthews to step up and score a goal and be the guy who scored 60 and 73 next year. So those are two looks, a bonus look for you on this Friday. Rosie, let's get to some topics of conversation. First and foremost, just some news out of the morning skate. Not sure what the configuration is going to be, but I would anticipate they're going back to 11-7 after they win a game. But Matthew Nyes skating this morning for the first time since suffering a concussion in game 2 last Thursday. So positive news. You just never say never. I know he's sort of ruled out for the series, but just never say never this time of year, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what those heads and whatnot, what they're doing these days. I'm not totally sure, but to be skating is definitely a step in the right direction. If it was a hard skate where I don't know, I don't think you're supposed to push it too hard, but I imagine the pregame skate this morning was a total wheel and deal, loop and shoot, pretty easy
Yeah.
skate. So just to see how his head was feeling after that, I'm doubting that he plays because I think you got to go skate first and then evaluate how you feel after that workout and take it like that. But I mean, shit, if I was wrong and this guy's feeling like $1 million and hey, maybe I don't have a concussion. I mean, for how hard he got hit, if he started feeling good immediately and says, I have no symptoms, I'm symptom free, I'm good, I would be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. You didn't get hit that hard in the head. Everyone's different and every situation's different. But if he's symptom free and he's feeling like $1 million and he's telling the trainers, I'm good, I have had no symptoms for 2 days or whatever the parameters are, that would be wicked if they threw him in because as we've seen in that first round, he's an asset in the lineup.
I think you want to err on the side of caution, certainly with any injury. Never mind, your top prospect in Matthew Nyes has been a great story, but I don't foresee it happening today. Obviously, not skating with the
No.
regulars. I think down the road, just never say never. If they keep pushing this series, there is the potential for Matthew Nyes to reemerge. And what a storyline, what a narrative that would be. Corey writing in, this is the game of the series. Win this, and the pressure shifts. We talked about this off the top. I totally agree. Like it's been interesting and intriguing hearing sort of both sides of the conversation. I think Ryan O'Reilly saying all the pressure was on them, Matthew Tkachuk saying all the pressure was on Toronto. I do truly feel if the Leafs win tonight, it starts to surface a bit in Sunrise. The Panthers' heads, oh boy, here they come, here they come. And that's why I think, it goes without saying, it's so cliche. Every game is important in a 7-game series. But if the Leafs grab this one, Rosie, I really, really will start to believe here a bit.
Yeah, it'll change. It'll change the look of it for sure. I mean, 3-2, you're down 3-0. It feels like just 2 seconds ago we're down 3-0. It is the worst situation we could be in. Doom and gloom. What happened? Talking about Dubas and who we fired in the offseason, and then boom, boom, you can get 2 wins. Holy shit! People are looking around. Florida's looking around. Florida can start to question themselves. Was like, what's going on here? Was this kind of a fluke, or are we out of gas, or what happened here? And then you go back down where they've had success on the road, and it's a tough spot to be in. That's why we say you just got to get one, and then you got to focus on the next one. And every time you do get one, the momentum builds, and all of a sudden, shit, it's like it's kind of almost surprisingly that it doesn't happen that often. I think usually when a team gets down 3-0, they're clearly outmatched. They're not even close, and they're unable to beat that team. But in this situation, I think the teams are more evenly matched than the 3-0 would suggest. And if the team, I mean, they have been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or whatever the hell that is, you don't know what you're going to
Yeah.
get. But when you get their best, they're damn hard to beat, no matter who you are. So 100%, man, they win this game. It's freaking huge. And I can't tell you, like, I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for them to win this game. I haven't even thought about the devastation of them losing and it all being over and we're all stunned. I haven't thought about it because I really just think they're going to win the game and someone's going to do something dramatic, and it's going to be a big momentum shift, just like you said, man. It'll be huge, and they got to get it done.
It's time to rise to the occasion for sure. PS 17, 34, 16, 91, and 88 need to show up tonight and produce. Lou St. Clair, I would sign Rosehill to a one-day contract for tonight's game so we could punch out Sam Bennett. I don't think now's the time for retribution. I thought earlier on in the series, but I would love that look, and hopefully I would get free tickets out of it, right?
Oh, of course, of course. Yeah, it'd be a one day contract, one shift, one suspension. Thanks for coming, Rosie. Sit back down and you're done. Thanks for your service.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know if you've been watching this league. I don't know what merits a suspension anymore. Alex Pietrangelo, fucking Paul Bunyan, just one game and they lose Nurse because of the rule. I've I just don't know what else to say about it. Patrick G Mafia, O'Reilly needs to be O'Reilly. That's another guy, man. Like the factor. He's been eerily quiet. I don't know if eerily is the right word, but like he had the big goal earlier on in the series. That's another guy. Like this is why you get Ryan O'Reilly for big moments like
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah, he has. He hasn't really done anything. He's kind of been in the weeds. It hasn't been
Mhm.
a game that's provided a lot of momentum for him to jump in on, or whatever the case is. But yeah, he has been quiet, and I would expect him to be going guns blazes. Any one of those guys could step up and do something big, man. But I would just hope to hell that every one of them is just excited, chomping at the bit, and just absolutely unloading the tank so that if every single player gives their best with their head screwed on straight for 60 minutes, you can get this thing done, man. And I cannot wait for the game. I'm more excited about this game than anyone that they've played so far this playoff run.
Yeah, you're fired up, man, and understandably so. I mean, you're telling me there's a chance, the old line, the old adage, and certainly we feel that way here in Leafs Nation after winning the game the other night. And again, it gets even more serious as the Leafs can find a way tonight. So, yeah, that's the big story for me. The core four, Joseph Wall, physically, the shot blocks, can they do that? Can they replicate to an extent what they did the other night? If they do, they'll be in good hands. And again, I expect Matthews to pop off tonight, Rosie.
Yeah, that's the hope. And yeah, you touched on that. The defense, like game 4, they were just, they were just positionally sound. They weren't scrambling. They kept them to the outside. They kind of kept them, away from any danger areas. And I mean, that's such a huge part of defense. Like, be in control, have the puck in front of you. Don't give up any holes. Don't be caught missing your assignments. Everyone's on the same page out there, and just frustrate them. Don't allow them to penetrate or get those quality chances. And the more you do that, the more, frustration they get. And you can let your big boys go to work on the other end of the ice. So yeah, I love their defense. It was, I think Craig Button said, as close to a 60-minute effort as they've had this playoffs besides game 2 in the first series. And, that's good, something to build on. Like, if you can shut down defensively and Wall keeps his head up and keeps playing the way he is, you get some puck luck on the other end. Bobber seems to be maybe cooling off. We'll see. But yeah, and Austin Matthews comes in and does Austin Matthews things, man. That's the recipe right there. You're completely right.
Maybe you bet the Leafs team total in this game. So we'll leave it at that. Again, we'll have you covered all weekend long, depending on what happens here for the Leafs. Hopefully they keep playing, but we'll have you covered. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page at the Leafs Nation 401. That's at the Leafs Nation 401 for the very latest happening here with the Maple Leafs. We'll be right there with you along the ride. So many thanks to everybody in the chat. Producer Alex, fantastic job as per usual. Rosie, to you. Enjoy game 5 tonight, buddy. You gonna have a couple pops or what?
Yeah, I will, and we better not be doing a pissed off somber show afterwards. I'm not going to be in the mood for it, so let's go tonight.
That'll be hilarious because we've agreed to do something if they lose, and they won't lose here, but if they do, we might be a bit gooned up for it. So that might actually be good to tune in for. So we'll talk at some point this weekend. Hopefully it's a positive for the Maple Leafs. Take care, everybody.